All right, classic metalheads. Today we are going to talk about a very special band to me. A band that's not super well known, but I think should be. So, in my opinion, what is the big four of U.S. power metal, of classic 80s U.S. power metal? Well, I would say Manila Road, I would say Omen, I would say Cirith Ungol, and I would say Brocas Helm. And that is the band we are going to talk about today, Brocas Helm. So, what is Brocas Helm? They're like an anomaly of heavy metal. Their sound is really kind of hard to put your finger on. I would say they're kind of a medieval themed, just heavy power metal band. So they've only got 3 albums, and I don't understand this because the first one, Into Battle, came out in like 1984, and it's been like 40 years, and they've only come out with 2 more albums. I don't know what they've been doing. I don't know if they don't have the time. I don't know if they have the material. I don't know if they just don't care anymore. I don't know what it is, but all I know is this band is brilliant. This is one of those bands I really would have loved to have seen a large catalog like Manila Road, but they just don't. But I guess on the plus side, they are 3 for 3. They don't have any weak albums. Now they got one that's a bit strange, but I'll get to that. So let's start with the first album, Into Battle. Okay, so what is this about? This is not even the original album cover, by the way. This is actually been redone. It's better than the original. The original is actually it just looked like a metal background with the name Brocas Helm and Into Battle. It was actually quite lame for an album cover. This actually looks a little cooler, but so what is this? What's it sound like? Very, very classic 80s traditional metal. I mean, there's really not much else to say, but it sounds very medieval. Extremely medieval, actually. Production's a little bit... It's not great, but it's not bad either. Everything's clear. You can hear it. I don't know. I could say you could probably hear a little bit of Iron Maiden. Like a medieval sounding Iron Maiden, but honestly the guitar here is a lot more chaotic and riffy than Iron Maiden by far. And that's one of the things I have to throw out about this band. There's 2 members of this band that need to be talked about immediately. The first one is the guitar / vocalist Bob Wright. And the second is the bass player, Jim Schumacher. So let's start with Bob Wright. This dude is a phenomenal guitar player. His riffs are crazy. I mean, there's just a lot going on. The type of riffs that just have a lot of notes in it, you know, like, and the solos are fantastic. Like, this dude has a great ear for coming up with good leads, good melodies. His vocal style, while I wouldn't call this guy the world's most amazing vocalist, it works really good here. Like, I love his voice. It's a little more of a let's see here, what you want to call, like a mid-range, not high, not super low, just kind of in the middle. His range isn't really all that incredible. He's not like a Bruce Dickinson or anything, but man, this dude sounds really good with his music. I like it. And Jim Schumacher, the bass player, okay, I'm going to say it right now. I would probably put him in my top 5 favorite bass players. No, I'm serious. My top 5 favorite bass players. You know, I don't know. I don't even know what my top 5 would be. That's for another video. I mean, I guess I could throw the Cliff Burton in there. I might throw P.V. Wagner, because I'm just such a fan. He's a main songwriter of Rage, so I could put him in there. You know, I could Steve Harris, but But Jim Schumacher, to me, is among the best. I don't know, his bass lines really help drive the music. And between that, and you can really hear his bass playing on the albums. Like, they're loud enough you can hear, and the dude's not just playing the root note. This dude's really doing stuff. Like, this is the kind of bass playing I would aspire to be like, you know, on my personal stuff. But so yeah, so the highlights of this, well, everything. I mean, Metallic Fury, Into Battle, Here to Rock, Beneath the Haunted Moon, Warriors of the Dark. The lyrics are great. Like, let's see here, which track is it? Is it Warriors of the Dark? It's basically, I literally think the lyrics are somebody who slays a dragon or something with their guitar, literally playing the killing chord. Like, how cool is that? I love this band. Absolutely love this band. Yeah, that's Into Battle. I would say this is probably one of their most typical 80s heavy metal albums. And it's not all that typical, but compared to the rest of their stuff, this is pretty typical. Okay, so now we go to the biggest anomaly in all of heavy metal. Black Death, their second album. It came out like kind of later in the 80s, like maybe 89, or maybe 88, I don't know, 88, 89-ish. But look at this album cover. Look at that. That is awesome. That is so cool. So, does the music reflect this? Yeah, but not the way you would think. So, this basically musically sounds kind of like Into Battle, but simplified. That sounds like a bad thing, but let's sprinkle in some really mystical sounding airiness over the top of it, and then you got this weird atmosphere. So it's kind of hard to explain what I just said there. So, okay. So the production, the guitars and the drums actually kind of sound better than Into Battle, but everything else sounds, oh, the bass sounds good too, but the vocals, everything like on top of it sounds airy. It sounds like a ghost. Like even Bob Wright's vocals are kind of like ghostly. I don't understand it. Sometimes they're even kind of hard to hear. They're like way in the background. I'm guessing this was a artistic decision. This sounds so chaotic and weird. It's almost hard to wrap your brain around the first time you hear it. Everything about this to me would point to sophomore slump, but somehow everything works here. These weird experiments. I mean, a lot of these songs really don't even have that many riffs, and the riffs aren't really that complicated. Now, some of them are, but I can't quite put my finger on this. But there's some songs like the song Black Death really isn't anything too different from what they would normally do. But then you got Prepare for Battle. Like, this song is so cool. It almost puts me in the mind of something Blind Guardian would do later on. Like, it just like, it just does. I don't know. You got, what's one of my favorite ones on here? Is it, Fly High, maybe? I can't remember. Yeah, some of these songs are just the lead is just so atmospheric, man. Everything about this album is about atmosphere. You really feel like you're on this medieval battlefield, but Bob Wright's vocals and even the lead guitars kind of sound like ghosts on a battlefield. It's hard to explain. The album doesn't feel very long either. It's quite short. But it is such a listen. I shouldn't like this as much as I do, but I love this album. But okay, so, and this is not what I would call an everyday listener. This one's kind of, I gotta be kind of in the mood for it. But when I'm in the mood for it, I get addicted. It's very, very addicting. Now, let's fast forward like, I don't know, 15 years or so. And they finally come out with a third album. And this one might be the ultimate Brocas Helm album. Not very many times a band from the 80s could actually potentially outdo themselves. But, oh yeah, Defender of the Crown came out in about 2004, I believe. Wow. This album is... See, I got a little protective thing. It's in a digipack, which I'm not big on digipacks, but this album, gosh dang. So basically what this is, it's pretty much everything that you can expect from the first two Brocas Helm albums, just with a little extra. It's got, you know, the riffage and the type of traditional heavy metal from Into Battle, but it's also got that really weird atmospheric, ghostly sound of Black Death. But here it's a little more audible. Like it fits together a little better sonically and sound wise. Like it doesn't sound so ghostly that it's hard to hear like it kind of did on Black Death. But this is probably their best production, their best everything. Some of the best riffs from Bob Wright, best guitar playing, some of the best bass lines from Jim Schumacher. And oh man, so I wish I had all the titles on the back of it. Here, hold on, let me just open this puppy up. So yeah, so we got the inside of it here. Got the track listings here, some band photos, even a band photo on the back. There's Jim Schumacher. He really has not changed. He still looks like that. He's like always looked like that. He's a pretty cool guy though. Oh man, Cry of the Banshee, the first track, an absolute classic. Yeah, the tapping and hammer-on riffage is really cool in this. Very, very innovative and unique. We got a song called Skullfucker on here. That's interesting. I've never really read the lyrics, but it sounds about like what it is. Drink and Drive. I actually think that's an old song. There's actually some old songs on here too, by the way. Like they had like some demos, I think, from like the early 90s that never turned into anything until this album. But Drink and Drive, I believe, is one of those. It's something that really don't seem like it should fit on this album, but it does. It does. Gosh, I don't know. Time of the Dark is one of my favorites, mainly because of the Jim's bass lines. The whole intro is just like an awesome bass performance. I don't know, man. There's this whole thing is freaking fantastic. And so I don't know, like this is the ultimate Brocas Helm album in my opinion. It's got like 15 tracks too. It's kind of a monster of an album. So you definitely get your money's worth with this one. My only regret about this band is that they've never done more. Like, why? Why, guys? Why? You're like one of the best bands that's ever existed. Why? But, you know, out of the big four of U.S. power metal, you know, I would say Manila Road's probably the best just for the sheer, you know, number of albums that they got, you know, like, definitely the most prolific band out of all of them. But man, these guys, along with Omen, could have been so much more if they could have kept that streak. But I don't know. And by the way, I can't help but feel like some of this reminds me a little bit of Blind Guardian. And of course, everybody that knows me, I'm a huge Blind Guardian fan. So a lot of the leads and melodies and stuff here really kind of put me in that same like medieval fantasy vibe, and I love it. So yeah, obviously I'm going to be a big fan. But yeah, there you go. There's Brocas Helm. One of the oddest but best bands in the history of all metal. Not just US metal, but all metal. But check them out as soon as possible. Trust me. All right, well, thanks for watching.